My in-laws neglected my husband during his medical struggles, so I'm calling them out. For context, this past year has been incredibly rough. My partner, 28-year-old male, has faced severe medical issues starting with a random grand mal seizure in January and several heart surgeries in March. Another seizure on vacation out of the country in May, and then needs another surgery in November soon. By the way, this comes from U-Desert Siren on the ROK Storytime subreddit. So, thankfully, he's been in good spirits, and while it's been tough, this has made us stronger and more supportive of one another. I've also had medical issues, but nowhere as severe as his. We just want an end to the nightmare because it feels like it's a never-ending series of plot twists every week. Now, I genuinely love my future in-laws. I respect them and want to be an amazing daughter-in-law to their family. However, I have to vent a bit about some of the situations that occurred this year. They come from a very different culture. And while I love trying new things and learning more about his culture and showing him mine, there's a lot that happened where I feel my partner deserves better from them. Here are some examples. They invited strangers to what was supposed to be his birthday dinner last year, causing him to back out, and then they got mad at him when he told them he's not coming anymore because he didn't want to have strangers at his birthday dinner.
Fair.
That is fair.
I don't want
Like
strangers
they just
at my
met
birthday
these
party.
like random people on the street. They're like, "Come to my son's birthday party."
Yeah.
Despite his financial struggles with medical bills, to which thank goodness he has insurance because otherwise he'd be almost $2 million in medical debt. Medical debt. His parents haven't contributed anything to him. And yes, we know not to expect it because it's not our money and not our choice, but even his biological mom from another country sends money every month. My parents paid for one of his entire ER visits out of the country. It just feels like everyone but them are contributing in some ways to keep my partner from drowning in his bills because he still owes an amount that's significant to him. My partner has developed a long-time hatred for Christmas.
Aw.
How?
Why?
Christmas is great.
Why?
I love Christmas. This Jew loves Christmas. And when he opened up to me about it last year, he told me he thinks it's because his parents always gave him crappy, cheap gifts.
Aw.
I mean, there's worse ways. There's worse things to ruin Christmas.
But you know, if they're like giving you like old socks and you're like,
it's not the end of the world.
not the end of the world, but it is heartbreaking as a child to get really bad gifts.
Yeah. Last year, they got him a 12-pack of Oreos.
That's pretty messed up.
Okay, yeah.
That's pretty messed up.
While his dad received expensive shirts and cologne. Then they had the nerve to tell him, you need to lose weight after giving those to him.
You're like, okay, we'll take those back, thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
why'd you get him
okay.
Oreos?
We just wanted to see what your reaction
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, you were
Obviously-
We're
gonna
testing
eat those?
you. Unbelievable.
Yeah, child test, you
Those
failed.
are double stuff.
We are grateful for whatever we get, and I go in not expecting any gifts, but I personally feel like they don't really know us sometimes with the gifts we've gotten in the past. I'm someone who loves a sentimental gift, even if it's a 50-cent necklace or something handmade. But we just feel like there isn't much thought that goes into our gift.
Yeah, into an Oreo? Some
Maybe he
Oreos?
really loved Oreos as a kid.
Clearly not.
When my partner was hospitalized, his parents were on vacation out of the country. Even though my parents and I were all there with him, that wasn't the issue. The issue came when we would update them over the phone, and then they would start stressing him out about the cost of a hospital stay. And if he really needed a brain/cardiac MRI, because it's going to be super expensive instead of prioritizing his health. Mind you, the doctor said he had a near fatal cardiac episode. Jeez. When the seizure happened and his parents legitimately said, oh, it's not that serious. He'll be okay. We're not that worried.
Oh my God.
Are they understanding? I mean, obviously they're
They're
not
like, we gave him an
understanding.
Oreo. Don't worry.
He has the
He's
Oreo.
fine.
Yeah, he just needs to lose weight.
This is like the parents in the other story. They're like, he's alive. He's crying, so he's fine.
Like, I'm over here having meltdowns because I had to help him through his seizure, roll him to his side.
Oh.
Jeez, I can't even imagine how scary that is. And call 911 and everything, and I'm by myself dealing with this, and you have the nerve to tell me it's not that serious. His stepmom constantly comments on how lucky he is to have me and what he would do without me, which at first was like, oh, well, I'm not going to have him. But after many times of her saying that, starts to feel like she doesn't respect him as a mature, responsible adult. They all work together in a family business. One time, they placed tasks on his desk without asking, hey, can you please do these for us? And when he called them out for not showing basic respect and asking him please, they sent him home from work / treated him like a child being sent to their room.
Oh my God.
These are the main incidents I can remember, but the latest situation has me pretty infuriated, and I can't tell if I'm expecting too much from his parents or not. What What I'm noticing is like some of these are like huge, really serious,
Yeah.
like ruptures and like awful things they're doing, and some of them feel like really like
But
petty,
really
like,
small.
like really small and kind of irrelevant.
But I think that it's probably for OP. It just feels like these
just
building and building and building, and you have
Sure.
like these big things, and then it's like, oh, it makes the small things even
Sure.
feel even bigger because you're already annoyed at them.
Yeah. Like I was going back in that whole list. I was like, well, that's not even that bad. And then
Yeah.
they did like a really bad thing. I was like, whoa. And then
Yeah.
it was another thing. I was like, why are you including that?
Yeah, I feel like it's just like to OP. It probably feels much bigger because
It's
it's
just like everything is
stacking.
triggering for sure.
Yeah.
After a second seizure in late May, we have a law that states patients who had this kind of seizure cannot drive for 3 months. While his stepmom and I have been driving him to and from work, he often has to Uber when we're unable to, which gets really expensive with the traffic we have near our place. One day, when I realized he had to pay $70 for Uber, I asked why his dad couldn't drive him. My partner simply said his dad didn't want to. I don't know if it's entitled of me, but it feels infuriating how his dad prioritizes his own comfort over helping his son who's beyond stressed with financials. So when I was trying to communicate how I was feeling to my partner, and I definitely know I was an a-hole for this, I said to my partner in the heat of my anger that his dad was being a fat, lazy B for not
Ooh.
stepping up as a dad to help his son.
Ooh, I don't know if you can. It's it's tricky because it's like that's his dad, and like you can think that, and it could be true, and it seems like it's kind of true, but you definitely have to be careful about how you talk about people's parents.
Yeah, and I get you're protective over your partner. You're
Yeah.
seeing that his parents aren't treating him right, and you're upset. And the moment you say something, also it's not good.
Yeah.
But it seems like OP knows that.
Yeah.
The next line is, yeah, I know.
Okay, so
So
everything's
we're
fine.
all on the same page.
Okay,
Was
cool.
not the right move.
Oh, I thought that was the husband's. Okay.
No.
So OP was saying, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Not my finest hour for sure. My partner wasn't too happy. I called his dad a B, and after apologizing because I know that was crossing a line a bit, he did agree that my underlying point was valid. He was like, hey, don't call him that, but like you're kind of right.
Hey, but yeah.
Yeah. He says we shouldn't feel entitled to their time or efforts, but that it sucks. His dad isn't really trying to help while the rest of us are doing everything possible to help. And if you want to help us, if you want to help yourself, you could tune into live episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. And there's another relevant update, but let's discuss.
Yeah, these people, the thing is like when there's people in your life who just consistently show that they're not going to show up for you, it sucks, but it's like you can't force them to show up for you. You just have to realize, maybe they're not meant to be in my life.
You can't force them to show up for you, but you can express your
communicate, yeah.
disappointment and your anger and a desire for them to help out more.
Yeah.
Without demanding it. I think
Which
there's a lot of room for that.
I think that they have they not had that conversation yet?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, as what we know,
That's
it
true.
hasn't been made clear that they've had that conversation.
Mhm.
It seems like they're just consistently being let down, and then OP is just getting angry to
Yeah.
their partner or to themselves.
Yeah. So maybe it's like bring that conversation up, and then if they don't, you can't do much.
Yeah. But there's a lot of room
Yeah.
to have that conversation before just assuming that they'll never be there.
Sure.
So I was raised so that my family and my parents would do anything to help me. While our backgrounds and cultures are different, I still feel like his parents should step up and respect him more. I really want to stand up for him without ruining the relationship, and we agree. We refuse to resent each other's family because we do love the other, and we know how in-laws can ruin relationships if there's resentment. After reading many Reddit stories, very true. This is
Yeah.
a good promise.
Mhm.
So we communicate well, and I try to stay on the same page, but am I overstepping in my expectations? Am I going crazy? I really want to do what's right. I do have a great relationship with his parents, and we never argue, and I will absolutely back off if I'm expecting too much of them, but I'm not totally convinced that I am. Thank you all, and stay healthy.
I think all you can do is kind of help your partner feel comfortable to go talk to his parents. I
And-
feel like you can like say like, hey, you're right in feeling like they're not, helping you out enough. Just have a conversation with them and give him the courage to do that.
I think another big factor here, and OP even mentioned it, is that different contexts, different culture, different
True.
families. And
Mhm.
so, again, family to OP means we always help out.
Yeah.
Family to other people might not
be
mean
that.
that. We might love each other, we might care for each other, but we might not be as dependent on each other
Mhm.
and helping out with finances. And
Yeah.
that doesn't show that that's a bad family. It's just that they approach relationships
Sure.
different.
Shanice Moore says, what about asking them for help instead of expecting them to?
Yeah.
Which goes into just communication.
Yeah, it goes into that there's just different contexts, especially on like what family means.
Yeah.
And so if it's one thing for OP to be like getting upset and like putting her expectations over her husband and their family and getting mad at the husband and their family. And it's another for OP's husband himself to be upset. And then from there, there's a lot of room to communicate like,
Yeah.
hey, like I'm struggling and I'm feeling upset that you're not helping. Can you help? Is
Yeah.
that possible?
I think that's a fair ask.